Thank you for having me.
What, at your own unit?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for the hospitality.
Anyway, I just want to speak to you today about your journey and sort of where you started off. I think it'd be great for other entrepreneurs that are starting out to hear where you started, because a lot of people think it's this perfect journey from the start, but obviously it's not.
Yeah.
It's scrappy, it's all over the place. So taking it all the way back to the very beginning of your journey, kick me off, where did you start?
Well, first of all, I started in my garage. So I think what you have to understand when you are starting anything really, it's not really Amazon specific, you are going to be the person who does everything. So, you're not going to have a team around you. You're not going to have different, you're not going to have access to probably lots of capital or lots of like facilities and people and stuff. So you are going to be doing everything. So it is going to be messy at the start. But yeah, like I say, I started around 4 years ago now, I think over 4 years ago. And yeah, started out my bedroom, really started as a side hustle. Basically, I was on furlough from work. It was during COVID. And I've always been entrepreneurial since maybe the age of 15, 16. I've been, watching tons of YouTube, been to different like free courses, seminars, paid courses. And then I really just wanted more than a job, really. So I started doing Amazon, kicked it off really well, actually. So within our first month, I think we did like 15,000 in revenue. And I was like, wow, this has got some legs. And basically what happened was I was pretty naive. I was just willing to jump in, and I had around £5,000 to £6,000 in my current account. And I found a couple of products that seemingly did pretty well, and did like a couple of different orders for maybe £500, £1,000. Started selling, and I literally just went balls deep and ordered absolutely everything I had in my bank, just emptied my bank account and bought the stock. And that's obviously how we did the 10, 15K a month in the first month. And I was like, right, this has got legs. And then basically what happened after that was COVID started to sort of ease off. I went back to work. I was a car salesman, so I was working 9 till 6 every day, 6 days a week, often weekends as well, commuting. So it was very hard for me to actually give it my full time commitment and stuff. But basically after about a year of doing it part-time and on the side, I basically just decided one day that I just wanted to quit my job and just really give it my full time and attention. I thought mainly I just wanted to live on my own terms and stuff. So there was very different reasons anyway, but I quit my job, really went pretty hard at it. We wasn't making massive amount of money at the time when I quit my job, but it was enough to actually kickstart and get started. And I had quite a bit of capital then from working for the previous year. I really didn't go out. I wasn't going out spending on meals or anything like that. I really did just do nothing but work all the time. Like I was going to work 9 till 6. I'd come home and I'd pack till maybe like 12, 1 a.m. sometimes, and then, rinse and repeat. And then when I wasn't packing, I was sourcing. So at the start, you really are doing everything, and it really is quite hard. And I think everybody makes it out to look like this glamorous, easy thing online, when really it's a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, and really a lot of mistakes. But basically, I was probably doing about 10, 15K a month revenue, maybe slightly more when I quit my job, maybe like 20,000 in revenue. And I thought, right, I'm going to go for it, really. So I quit my job. We applied for this building here to lease the building, and really just went hard. And for maybe the 6 to 8 months after that, we just worked relentlessly. Me, Jack, and the team just really went hard, double down on systems, process, and we took it from like 15, 20K a month all the way to, I think within 8 months we was at 100K a month.
Oh, nice.
So really just shows what actually, if you just double down, time, effort, and relentless, you don't take no for an answer. There's no plan B. That's where you can get. So yeah, that was a bit long-winded, but that's how I started.
Yeah.
And that's where the journey went from there.
So from the beginning, like you say, you quit your job and you went all in on the Amazon.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge that you faced first setting up?
So, as in first when I quit my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would actually say the biggest challenge at the time was I quit my job. So obviously I was losing my income. And that was my only source of income apart from Amazon, which I wasn't taking any money out personally at the time. We was going VAT registered, just as I left my job. So like I think the month I left, we went VAT registered, and also we signed the commercial premises to acquire the commercial premises, right? And we were looking at taking on staff and stuff like that, right? And there was a lot of initial investment when coming into a premises. There's lots of initial investment that you've got to put in, right? So basically everything all came at once. There were so many costs, and in short, we basically didn't prepare for VAT registration because I just didn't know how. So I wasn't prepared. I didn't really understand what that was. I didn't prepare with my margins, and I just didn't really understand what it was. So like the first 2 months were really, really, really tough, because maybe 3-4 months before we went VAT registered, we were absolutely killing it. We were doing, I would say, 30% margin plus, had some really great products in, was doing really well. And that's obviously what, inspired me to quit, I guess. And then basically what happened was, just before we went VAT registered as well, the Amazon fees went up. So our margins just dropped slightly. Yeah. Then we went VAT registered, and we just weren't prepared for it. And our margin went from like, pretty high to very low quite quickly. Yeah. But so we had a low margin, we had low income coming in, plus we had all these different expenses. I now had no income coming in. I'd actually, just bought a 25 grand car at the time with no income as well. So everything just hit at once, and the pressure was really on of like, right, Jack, you need to make this work now. And that, at the time, maybe I didn't feel the pressure, or I didn't think I felt the pressure, but looking back on it now, that's probably an extremely tough time.
Oh, 100%.
I had no, we were loss making for a while, because everything just hit at once, and I just didn't have a game plan. I didn't have an action plan. And really, it was just down to a lack of knowledge and a lack of ability to, well, actually, really, the what happened was I just didn't understand VAT and how to actually manage it. And I guess we grew too quickly for my knowledge. But yeah, over the past, we've been VAT registered now for what, 2-3 years, something like that. If I knew what I know now, going back into it, it would be a doddle, really. It'd be easy.
So going back now, like you said, it was a lack of knowledge from your end.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd do differently?
Oh, probably everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends.
More research.
It depends in what aspect you mean. Would I do anything differently? No, I wouldn't do anything differently. Looking back on it, like I don't have any regrets, because everything I failed on or any mistakes that I've made, I've ultimately learned from.
Yeah.
And trust me, I have made a lot of mistakes, like more than most people would believe. You've got to make the mistakes to learn, right? Yeah. But if you flip the question and say, what would I do? Would I do anything different if I was starting again? Absolutely yes. Yeah. Because there's so many, with the knowledge that I know now, and with the knowledge that I have now, and all the mistakes that I've made and everything that I've done, I would be able to scale an Amazon business about 50 times faster than I did. Yeah. Because yes, I was investing in my knowledge and investing in coaching and masterminds and mentors and stuff at the time, but ultimately there was nothing on the market really that coaching wise that actually did everything that I needed.
Yeah.
And it's even small things like VAT returns, tax, like there's just so many different variables and small things that when you get into business, you're really naive to the fact that these things are actually a problem. And like payroll, electric bills, there's so much stuff that people just don't talk about that catch you out, and you're like, oh, right, you have to actually pay for that. There's a lot more overheads than people think, for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible, but there's so much stuff that I do differently now, and I just have a game plan really.
More research.
Yeah, so if I started with no knowledge, I would first of all invest in my knowledge from somebody who's been there and done it. I did this to an extent, but there was not as much as I should probably, and I learned a lot. I've learned a lot from just trial and error.
Yeah.
So just trying things, failing, losing money, trying things and it working, and then double down on the things that are working. And it's taken me really 3-4 years to really fully learn and understand the business. And now, obviously, if you look where we are, we're pretty, we're flying.
I suppose even now, it's as well as it's going, there's still stuff that
you're always
always learning.
You're always a student to the game, right? Like you've got to not be naive to the fact that you've always got to be learning, and there's always something more to be learned, and always something more that can be
changing.
Done. Yeah, for sure.
Up with it.
For sure. But yeah, the main thing I would do if I was starting again is find somebody 3-4 steps ahead of like, right, this person is where I want to be, and this is what I'm trying to achieve. They're where I want to be. Right, how can I pay them? what can I learn from them and do exactly what they say.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
So you mentioned, so this is your warehouse.
Yep.
We're surrounded by boxes, pallets.
Yeah.
You've got employees.
Yeah.
So what is it that you actually do in the business now that you've got other people running different departments?
So in terms of the actual operational side of the warehouse, we have a warehouse manager and a couple of different warehouse staff as well. So in terms of like hands-on, actually packing, labeling the products, scheduling the pallets, all that kind of thing, I'm very hands-off with. My main role within the Amazon business is actually to acquire new deals and product source, right? If you've watched a lot of my YouTube videos and a lot of the stuff, the content that I've put out before, I'm very, I talk a lot about the high and the low value tasks within the business, right? And the high value task, really, the one that's going to move the needle in the business, the one that's going to drive the revenue, is the actual sourcing of the products, contacting the brands, negotiating with these brands, and actually building the long-term relationships with these brands. So that really is my main focus on the Amazon business, really just to drive the revenue, drive the consistency of the business, and grow the business in that aspect. And then obviously I oversee like the operations of the business, but I just don't get involved hands-on with the packing and stuff. That's all sort of done, really, I guess, and taken care of by the team. So.
Yeah. So what was it for you that made you go with Amazon? Why didn't you choose drop shipping? Because I know that's massive, or just another business model.
So to be totally honest, the reason why I chose Amazon is actually it's actually a very low risk business when you really look at all the variables. So something like drop shipping, yes, there's no upfront investment in any product cost, but your money goes into marketing, right? If you're not good at marketing, you don't know what you're doing, you are simply just putting money down the drain, because marketing is hard, ads are very hard, and you're not getting anything tangible for your money. Whereas if you buy, say for example, someone starts Amazon FBA, they buy £300 worth of products and they realise, oh, I can't sell these, or then they're not good. At least you've actually got a tangible product with a tangible value, right? You might not be able to get the £300 that you paid, but you might be able to get £250 back, or something back, right? It's a lot more of a low-risk business, and especially when you have different systems and processes in place and validation processes, it does become a very low-risk business. You know, you're buying something tangible at the end of the day, so it's got a value, and people do want it.
So speaking earlier, and just now you mentioned that there wasn't much out there for you to learn from or research when you were setting up. You mentioned that you do consultancy now. What is it that you're actually helping people with? So is it helping people build their business?
Yeah, so just to give the sort of thought process behind it and why we've sort of set up the program is, I've been doing Amazon for 4 years now. The first 2 to 2.5 years was extremely tough, and it's extremely tough because I just didn't have the knowledge. I didn't understand how VAT worked. I went to an accountant. They didn't really understand how the VAT worked for Amazon. It's very complex. It's very, there's lots of different variables to it. And there's so many different variables and problems and issues that can come up. And really, when these issues and things come up, who do you go to? When you're an entrepreneur, when you've got your own business, it's not like you go to your boss and say, oh, I've got this problem. There is simply nobody to go to. When I looked on YouTube for Amazon FBA content in the UK, there was virtually nothing valuable out there. And when I had a problem, it took me ages to sort it. So really, I set up the program as something that if I was starting, again, or starting, I was at the start of my Amazon journey, what are the things that I would need to know in order to get where I am now quicker? So in effect, what we do is we help existing Amazon sellers to scale their business. So anybody doing £3,000 a month plus in revenue, anywhere from 3K to, I would say, probably 30, 40K in revenue, we help them basically scale to 6 figures per month. So we can provide all the plug and play documents, all of the systems, all of the processes that we've used in our Amazon business to actually get there. And it's basically just a fast track for these people of like, right, you guys are here and you've got a lot of potential. You've started it, you've got the basic foundation knowledge, you've generated some sales, you've generated some profit. Really, if you want to take your business to the next level and you really want to scale and I guess turn it from a side hustle into an actual business and replace your full-time income, get that financial freedom, that is what we help people achieve. And we have a program that is literally A to Z of everything we've done in our business. Honestly, everything we've done in our business. You'll be able to look at the testimonials on YouTube and obviously all the content that we put out.
Yeah.
You can see that we are genuine. We do what we say we do, as you can see just from being in the warehouse, right? So I guess I just created it out of a passion for that, and that's really why we created the program, because we're offering genuine value to genuine people, and we only really want to work with the best. So we only really want to work with people who are like really want to change and really want to scale and really want to go far.
Yeah.
You know, we're not this big mass market taking on thousands and thousands and thousands of students at, you know, £40 a month, right? We're not that kind of service. We are, you know, you invest in us and we will invest in you, and we will do everything we can to get you where you need to be and to achieve those goals. And that's really what it is.
So you've got all the resources for them.
All the resources, everything. So like literally everything. We have a full program that literally goes A to Z and everything you need to know. And we then have like community calls every week where people can jump on, ask me questions, and basically just any issues, any problems, anything that they're unsure of, they ask on calls.
Yeah.
And, you know.
How's it gone with previous students? Have you had people that have come on and done really well?
Yeah, very, very well. So we've had, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, a couple of people I can think of. We had students join us, I think 6-7 months ago now, who came to us doing around about 10k a month in revenue, I think. Been doing it for around about a year. And they basically just had a lack of direction, a lack of vision.
Yeah.
They didn't really know what they were doing fully. They knew that something needed to change, and they basically joined the program, started working with us, and I think 6-7 months later they're on track. I think they're doing 80,000 a month plus in revenue, and they're looking at securing some funding now. They've got commercial premises, quit their full-time jobs.
Yeah.
This really is a life-changing experience, right? And they're on track to do, I would say within 12 months they'll be doing multiple 6 figures a month in revenue. So very successful.
Wow, yeah. It's quite a short time as well. So.
Yeah, oh for sure, yeah. That's, you know, through hard work, persistence, dedication, and ultimately implementing exactly what we've told them, right? We've given them all of the resources, everything that we know, and they've gone out there, they've put the hard work in, they've implemented what we said, and they've got the results. And it really is that simple.
Yeah.
Another student I can think, again, 7 or 8 months ago, joined us doing about £1,000 in revenue, doing it as a side hustle, online and retail arbitrage. Fast forward to now, again, implemented all the systems, all the processes, everything that we've taught them, and now doing over 55k revenue last month.
Nice.
Like 7 or 8 months ago they came to us. So, you know, this is possible for anybody. It's not a get rich quick, but if you put the hard work, you're persistent with it, and you do everything that we say and implement everything that we have, you are going to get results.
Yeah, it will work. Yeah.
There's no reason why it can't. We've got, you know, all you have to do is look on our YouTube channel and look at all the reviews that we've got. It does work.
It shows.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you mentioned when you were starting out, you didn't have much to learn from or any resources available for you. So you were learning from mistakes that you made.
Yeah.
Have you got any examples of maybe when you've lost a lot of money in a deal or a costly mistake that you made?
Yeah, so I can think of definitely just some that spring to the top of my head, and I can't even count the amount of messages I've had of people having the same issue of IP issues on Amazon. Again, any Amazon sellers watching this will know there's certain listings you can sell on, there's certain listings you can't, and to start with, in the first 1 to, I guess, 2.5 years of my journey, I didn't fully really understand that, and didn't understand what listings I could sell on, what listings I couldn't, and there was a few products I thought I could sell, I couldn't, bought loads of stock and was removed and got stuck with stock. But again, because you're buying something tangible, we don't actually have that stock now. We have managed to sell it on other platforms, Facebook, eBay, all these kind of things. I think we sent some back to the supplier actually, but I'm trying to think of something else. I definitely remember when we went VAT registered that we had a lot of confusion and no one really understood how to do it. And I had to speak to so many specialists about how we actually set up for that registration in terms of all the reimbursements, all like the refunds on Amazon, all of like the chargebacks, the shipping costs, everything like that. There's so many different like VAT rules, and like you can claim VAT back for this, you can't for this, you can for this. There's so many different like stipulations with VAT on Amazon, and like if you're going to go through it line by line, it will take you weeks. Like I think our last VAT return, there was like 200 pages worth of transactions,
Yeah.
right? So you need to learn how to set that up right, make sure it's set up correctly. And there's just I'm trying to think of like other things that I've messed up on. Just loads of things. Like there's so many small different little things that can make the biggest
Yeah.
amount of difference. Like just incorrect data, learning how to read the data properly, look for inconsistencies, look for, I guess, discrepancies in the software,
Yeah.
because that does happen. You've just got to accept it, and understanding how things work and being able to manually validate these things, definitely a big
Yeah.
thing.
Well, like you mentioned, because you went down the Amazon route, problems with stock, you've always got that to fall back on. You
Yeah,
can
for sure. Yeah,
get some money back
yeah.
from it.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, I have invested where I need to. I've invested in coaches, consultants, specialists, because I've had to, right? Like, there's been no other alternative.
Yeah. 100%. So finally, what's one piece of advice that you'd give to other business owners or entrepreneurs watching this, whether that's Amazon related or not?
So, probably the biggest bit of advice, and this is non-Amazon specific, is understand what it is you're trying to achieve, where you actually want to get to, and the biggest thing that I can say, the biggest piece of advice, and the best advice that or the thing that's helped me the most, is actually just investing in myself and getting surrounded by the right people. Invest in your knowledge, find somebody who is exactly where you want to be in the position. Like you think, right, I want to be I want to be a top level baker, right? You surround yourself with the best and buy the best programs, buy the best courses, get surrounded by the best people, get in those rooms and, immerse yourself in that industry and immerse yourself in that. But ultimately, it's just invest in education. So invest in somebody who is where you want to be, let them tell you exactly what to do, and then just simply do it. Don't divert.
Yeah.
They've obviously done it. They know, right, this is what you need to do to get there. Just simply do exactly what they say. And obviously you need to validate who you're, learning from and stuff like that. There's probably a lot of people who say they do lots of stuff and actually don't out there.
Yeah.
But I would just say invest in your knowledge.
100%. Nice one. Thank you very much.
No problem.